Should you date while you're trying to lock in? It's a business model that has made me the most money I've ever made online. How do you get closer to God? What separates the girls who actually make it online from girls that don't? If you are new here, my name is Sav. I am 21 years old and currently traveling full time because I make money online. I've been doing this since I was 17 years old. I did not go to college. I did not get a degree. I started with little side hustles I found on the internet, and eventually it led to me doing this full time and now running a business, teaching other girls how to do it with my best friend. I haven't made like a talking video like this in a while, but the other day I put out a story telling you guys to drop any questions you may have because I wanted to film a Q&A style video. And I wanted to do this because I was on live the other day and I was getting a lot of the same questions I always see in my DMs about money, about mentality, about goals, about work ethic, about so many different things. So I thought I should film a video with the most commonly asked questions that you guys did leave, to give you guys more context on what it's like to be a young girl making money online, you know, what it took me to get here, what my life looks like now, and just kind of give you guys a peek into my world so it's easier for you guys to get to where you want to be also, through just kind of using the things that I've needed to do to get here and applying it to your own life. So yeah, this is what the video is going to be about, and I have about 15 questions I want to go through, starting with, what's one thing that keeps you going no matter what? And I love this question because I think a lot of people automatically assume that there's one specific lever you have to pull, there's one specific trait that you have to have in order to become successful, and that if you don't have the motivation or the discipline, you're just not going to be able to achieve any of your goals. But for me, I would say the one thing that keeps me going no matter what, that kept me going past 6 months of failure and not seeing results when I first started UGC back when I was 17, was hitting the point of no return. And this is something I feel like not enough people talk about because it's so incredibly important. But what I mean by this is you hit this point in your life where you can't envision a life for yourself where you're not achieving your goals. For me, it started with increasing my awareness. So at 17, I never imagined myself with like a career or a future or any specific plan that I wanted to pursue in my life. But I definitely didn't think it was possible to make money online. Like that just wasn't even something that was in my brain. But then I see a video from a girl saying that she did it. So I thought, oh my gosh, you could do this. My awareness was now increased, and now I could never go back to the point in my life where I didn't know that this was a possibility. And through this entire journey, my awareness has just steadily increased, and I keep hitting these points of no return where it's almost like a veil is lifted and I can no longer see my life in this limited perspective that I saw my life through before. So first it was, wow, you can make money online. Wow, I can actually do this. Wow, I can actually make a lot of money doing this. Wow, I can teach other girls how to do this. Wow, I can move into my own apartment. I can do this full time. I can travel the world. To tie it all back to the question, not to be cliche, but the one thing that keeps me going no matter what is knowing what's possible. I think, and I heard this quote from my pastor a while ago, when you know who you are, you know what to do. It's really hard to keep acting out of alignment with your goals when you know that your goals are possible for you to achieve. For me, showing up for myself is not an option. For me, doing the daily tasks that may feel mundane and they feel annoying and you feel like you're not seeing results are not an option because I know what's possible. I've hit that point of no return and knowing, okay, if I stick to this and I fail for 6 months, eventually something's gonna come out of it. And I'm just so set on the life that I want to build for myself that not showing up for myself is not an option. Again, it is the point of no return. Once you truly to your core get a glimpse of your potential, you cannot ignore that. And it starts to make you feel almost horrible and shameful and gross for doing anything that does not align with the goals you know you can achieve. And that's my primary motivator, honestly. Like I know that I can always be doing better. I can be helping more people. I can be seeing more success in business. And if I am spending all day brain rotting and I'm getting up late and I'm trying to skip my tasks and not do the things that I know I need to do, that feels embarrassing. And that alone is enough motivation for me to keep going no matter the circumstances. The second question is, how do you stay disciplined when you're working towards something but not seeing results yet? And I think this actually goes back to the first question, honestly. And at least for me, this is something I feel like not everyone is gonna understand. Only true entrepreneurs at heart will understand. But success is not a choice. It doesn't feel like a choice for me. It doesn't feel like I chose this path that I grew up as a little girl thinking I wanted to own a business. It kind of just happened naturally through hitting those points of no return and increasing my awareness. So now I'm at a place in my life where success in business or pursuing entrepreneurship does not feel like something I can just choose. It feels like it's a part of me. So the discipline is a byproduct of just having clarity on my goals. Because when you know what you're going to pursue, you already know what you need to do, right? And like I said, again, anything outside of that is just embarrassing. That's how I think about it. It might not be the healthiest mindset, but to me, truly, it feels embarrassing to make excuses for myself or to beat around the bush or to not live up to my highest potential and hold myself to a higher standard. I just can't imagine a life in which I'm doing those things. And I think even there, when it comes to discipline, a lot of people think that it's some innate thing that you're either born with or you're not. I was never the most disciplined girl growing up, you know, always wake up late, room wasn't always clean, like it usually was not. I'd show up to work on time, but I wasn't super disciplined. I wasn't super committed to like finishing books front to cover and always remembering to do my chores. But discipline is something that you can build. It's a skill, it's learned. And one thing I did at 17 was I actually started reading Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. And that, I will say, honestly did help me a lot in building my discipline and learning how to structure my days and my life better. But I think even beyond the fact that you can build discipline and you need to do so if you want to accomplish anything, again, it all goes back to the fact that you will build that discipline when you have clarity on your goals. You need to know what you're working towards. We are goal-oriented people. Every single action that you take and thing that you think aligns with a specific goal that you're trying to achieve, whether it's a good or a bad goal to achieve. And that's why it's so important to be clear on your goals. Because if you're not clear, you're going to be unintentionally working towards something that you don't actually want. And I think even when it comes to discipline specifically related to online money, one of the biggest motivators that I had at the beginning was just realizing that there's nothing bad that can actually happen from trying. Like the way I envisioned it was almost making money online is essentially free money. These things that I were initially pursuing didn't require me to have a ton of capital invested into them. They didn't require me to launch my own product or build my own business. They were little gigs or opportunities that I could pursue online just through building the scale up for free. And as long as I was willing to stick out the phase of me sucking at what I was trying to pursue, eventually something would start to work. Like that's how I envisioned it. Like if you start something, there's no world in which that input doesn't matter, right? Even if the success that you're looking for does not manifest in the way that you wish, something's gonna come out of it. It's gonna lead you to the next thing. I mean, I've bought failed courses and I've trusted the wrong people, and you'd think that's the end of the world and that's horrible and that just completely cooks you. But in the end, it still leads to success no matter what it is, if it's a failure or a win. And that's why I kind of think about my goals. And that's why discipline was easy for me. I never thought of the inputs that I was putting in and not seeing a direct result from as wasted time. I knew that they would compound over time and eventually lead to me actually seeing success out of that thing. That was a lot of talking, but I guess the 3 parts of that are really important is 1, having clarity on your goals so you know what you're working towards. 2, recognizing that discipline is a skill that you can build and you just have to work on it intentionally. And 3, recognizing that no input is truly wasted, and to stop measuring success by instant gratification and recognize that things do take time, and the things that you're doing right now to get you closer to your goals are never going to be wasted. And if you truly stick to what you're trying to pursue, they will compound eventually. Okay, question 3 is kind of a hard pivot and it's random, but I actually got asked this a lot on my last TikTok live I did a few days ago. But the question is, should you date while you're trying to lock in? And hopefully it's mostly girls watching this because I want to specifically like talk to girls on this one. So first of all, I would say, like, beyond just the locking in aspect of this question, I'm a firm believer in the fact that you should never just be trying to date. The only time you should be trying to date is when you want to marry. I don't believe that dating is some biblical thing that we're called to do. Like, date around, meet a ton of people. I think dating should be very intentional, and the intent should be, I want to marry someone. I want to start a family. Like, I want to actually build a covenant marriage. And with that being said, it will be on God's timing, right? And if that's God's season for you, it doesn't matter if you're locked in or not. You want to pursue that thing. God's calling you to find your husband, to build that family. And I know so many amazing, successful entrepreneurial women who are like killing it in business that are also married and have an amazing dynamic with their husbands as they're insanely locked in. And it's the most beautiful thing ever. So I just want to preface with that and say, like, yeah, I don't think you should ever be dating to date. But when it comes to locking in, unless your goal is to date to marry and you are looking for your husband and you have someone who you know you could see yourself marrying and you feel like God has called you towards, there is no benefit to just dating around. And something that you'll recognize is that it is incredibly rare that you will see an ambitious, successful, or rich woman that is dating around. That's a boyfriend girl that is always looking for a new man, that is constantly seeking validation. And that's because dating is an incredible distraction from the priority you should be putting on your goals. If you're an ambitious woman, you should not be sitting here and posting pictures trying to get guys to slide up and tell you you're so cute and so beautiful. You shouldn't be texting guys all day long. All of your focus should be on your goals. If it's not, that desire for validation is going to derail you so quick. When you look at the differences between men and women in business, one of the biggest things that will derail men quickly is lust, but for women it's validation. And both of those manifest in dating around. Truly, you need to be intentional about absolutely everything when you're trying to work toward your goals, but especially the people that are around you. If you're around low quality men, not saying that disrespectfully, but guys that are not holding you to a higher standard or encouraging you to pursue your goals, guys that are sucking the life out of you, it is going to be so hard to give your goals the intention they need in order for you to accomplish them. So moral of the story, if you're dating for marriage and and it's super intentional, yes. But if you're dating around just to date around and get validation, no, you're not going to accomplish your goals that way. You need to be focused, have your blinders on, and just be only working towards seeing that goal come to fruition. Okay, after that little TED talk, question 4 is, how did you meet your best friend? Guys, I get this question so much, and it's crazy to me that I haven't put out a video yet before fully talking about our story. If you guys are not familiar, this is your first time like seeing and watching me, my best friend and I met at 17 years old, well 17 and 18, a year into both of our online money journeys, and since then we have a business together, we travel the world together. I mean, we are inseparable, and it's such a divine, amazing friendship that has helped us both make so much money just because the friendship is so good. Okay, but how did you actually meet her? On Discord. It's not some cute, adorable story. So back then, we would join these little Discords that you pay like 20, 30 bucks a month for to learn different sauce about online money. Back then, this was one for TikTok Shop, and we were paying like maybe 25, 50 bucks a month to be in this community, and it was all boys. Like back then, the online money space was so niche. This was 2024, like early. I think it was around March, April. There was barely any girls, especially in the TikTok Shop space, that were super young like us, because like I said, we were 17 and 18 years old. But we're in this community, we didn't know each other for a bit. Then Soph reaches out to me one day because she sees me like typing messages in the chat talking about my success, things I'm doing, how I'm 18 years old too, and how I'm a girl. And she asked me some random question about like LLCs, which to this day she'll admit the only reason why she did that was because she wanted to talk to me, which is so cute. But okay, she messages me. Low-key, I was aura farming for no reason. I didn't reply back for like 2 days, but like this is what I mean. Like I was laser focused, and she gets it. Like I wouldn't text anybody. Like I was just fully focused on my goals. Like no friends back then, which is not the best, but like that's what was needed for me to see success initially. But anyways, we talk a little bit. I give her some advice on LLC stuff, but it's really dry and it was not like a full conversation. I think about like maybe a week or a couple days later, I see that she posts this message in the group that we're in saying she hit her first 10K month at literally like 17. She just turned 18, and I was like, oh my gosh, congrats, like you're insane, that's amazing, like that's so awesome. I like congratulate her. And then literally from that day, we started talking like every single day. Like it's like two peas in a pod. But something about our friendship that's really interesting is that it was incredibly slow burn. Like we didn't immediately go into deepest, darkest secrets, like everything you know about the other person, like talking, FaceTiming nonstop. Like when we talked nonstop, it was just about business. Like it was never super intimate immediately. But it just kind of got deeper and deeper gradually as she started introducing me to God, and I learned more about her life. We started going through our crash outs together and really bonding as like teenage girls. But the most special thing about our friendship is the second we started really talking and becoming true friends, our income literally doubled just because we were there to support each other and like confide in each other and give each other ideas. It was so insane, which is why we built Create Her, because the friendship effect is so real. But we met on Discord, and we met each other for the first time about 6 months later in Miami. All of my friends and I were here, TikTok Shop friends. We like had this crazy villa, and we hung out for a few days, and then we saw each other like 6 months after that in Colorado on another trip we went on with TikTok Shop people. And so for like the first year and a half, we would only see each other like every 6 months. But a full year or maybe more after we met, I don't know, it's been so long, we started building Create Her, and then we booked an Airbnb together in Miami for a month and stayed there together and just worked for a while. And this was the beginning of our like travel arc, where we've just been traveling kind of a lot for the past year and a half now. Miami, California, Tampa, like a ton of different places. We started like truly becoming best friends, like full-on best friends, just traveling together everywhere. And it's been really cool to run a business with someone you love so much and you truly like understand inside out and can trust inside and out. And the coolest part is that we got to see each other on every part of our journey. So from our first 10K months to our first 20K months together, first 40K, 50K months, 60K months, like it's been crazy watching them come up together and now like doing it and replicating that across multiple girls. But yeah, met online, literally long distance friendship, and we became really, really good best friends over the past almost 2 years now. First year was very slow burn, but we've known each other for a really long time now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's our story. Number 5, I love this question. How do you get closer to God? So to kind of even tie this back in, I didn't know God at the beginning of my online money making journey. I was very like manifester, spiritual. You guys can see this freaking tattoo that I want to get removed so bad. I was very like spiritual girl, not that I could manifest my goals out of thin air. And it was Soph who was planting those seeds in me, because she was a very God-fearing woman when we met, still is, like even more. But I just mean she was very God-fearing at such a young age, like while also pursuing success. And those seeds started to get planted. I bought my first Bible like 4 months after meeting her. And I just started to seek the Lord. I will be so honest, like I got my first Bible, but I was still living in the world. I was still doing like worldly things. I was still making money out of like a striving attitude and not out of a obedient, like serving the Lord type of attitude. And it took me about a year from fully like trying to seek God to like giving my life to God, because I had so much to unlearn from living in the world and not believing in God for so long. But it kind of comes back to even like what keeps me going, and it's hitting that point of no return. So I just steadily was increasing my awareness. Like I was just taking my time to learn about God and really seek that relationship, let go of church hurt and understand who Jesus Christ actually is, like as a father, like as our creator, and spending time in the word. I spent like 6 months head down, like literally just reading the Bible every single day and wanting to like know everything that I could about Jesus to like understand him more and build that relationship. But honestly, I think what truly got me closer was the sanctification of like letting go of my old life, right? Like letting go of my old ways where maybe I would lie in TikTok shop content to like make more money and mislead stuff with like, oh, like this will make you super skinny in 2 days, like that type of stuff, which was just so wrong. I had to essentially get out of my own way so I could let God in my life. But that started with me getting the Bible, reading the Bible. I started in Proverbs, understanding who God actually is, not who society says that God is, not who the 40 page says that God is, but who God himself says that he is, how he wants us to live, like truly seeking that relationship and starting to hear and know God, and then aligning my life with what he calls us to do and like who he calls me to be. And it's just been an uphill battle from there. I think that's the correct term, but it's just been uphill from there. But getting closer, it's just drawing closer to him. I heard this quote a really long time ago from a good friend that said, you have to give God something to work with, right? Like God wants to know you, he wants a relationship with you, but you have to like open the door for him to be in your life. Like he's waiting right there and he wants to talk to you and know you. But until you make the active effort to hear and see him, you're not going to be able to, because you're blocking those things out. And honestly, one of the biggest things that's brought me closer and closer to God is business. Like business is an incredibly spiritual thing, especially building your own business. It takes a lot of just like trust and reliance on God and just like knowing his purpose for you in order to build something successful that doesn't compromise your morals, right? Like doesn't dip into worldly things or striving, and just fully glorifies God. It's been the number one thing that has brought me closer to God, because of just how much I've had to rely on him for strength and guidance and just everything in between. But honestly, to answer that question, I would say open up your Bible, start in Proverbs, and just start reading about who God is instead of, like I said, who you think he may be. Because who I thought God was as a kid is totally not who God actually is. And I had to learn that myself and understand convictions myself and sanctification myself to fully accept him into my life. And it's a process, so give yourself grace, but just start with opening your Bible and fully reading over who God says he is. Okay, question 6. Do you think you have to sacrifice your social life to become successful? And maybe this is controversial, but I absolutely do think that you have to, especially if you're a young person, especially a young girl trying to become successful. Because the thing is, let's say you're living this life, you're a regular teenage girl, you have all these friends around you. It's very unlikely that these people around you are people that also have the same goals as you, that want to make money online, that want to be really successful. They're probably living completely different lives. And it's really important that you can have full focus on your goals. Like when I decided that I wanted to make money online, I deactivated my Instagram. I was not always on social media. I was not constantly going out. I was literally working some more and trying to teach myself how to make money online. And that was all that I was focused on. I think the reason why I say yes is because the people that you're around truly do mold you into the person that you become. And in order to become successful, you have to become a new version of yourself. The person that you are right now that maybe is not successful yet is not the same version of you that's going to be incredibly successful and hitting 10K, 20K, 30K plus profit months. There are a lot of things that you have to unlearn. There's a lot of doubts you have to ignore. And the quickest and easiest way to change yourself is to be in solitude for a time so that you can truly understand who you are and what your goals are, and not let other people's like beliefs and desires and actions impact the things that you're doing in your life. But there's nuance to that, right? I don't think that's how it has to be forever. What you'll learn is that it goes in phases. For your first like 6 months, you're probably gonna be super lonely, super isolated, like it's a Canada event, that's what it's like. But then you'll start meeting people that are like-minded. These people will mold you into a better version of you. They're gonna help you accomplish your goals, like so for me. And you're just gonna keep like going through phases in life and your success. But I think in the beginning, it is essential to be kind of locked in your own world for a bit and to sacrifice your social life. Like, you shouldn't be going out and partying every day or going out with tons of friends all the time if you want to make your goals work. Because truly, like, if you can put your head down for 6 months, your life can change in 6 months, and that's all it takes. But you're not going to be able to do that if you're constantly distracting yourself with outside and external things. Something I learned a while ago from like an Amon Godzi video was the monk mode rule, which is for 6 months, be a monk. Like, sit in your room all day long, just work, like put your head down. And then 6 months after that, you can enjoy the fruits of your labor and just kind of go in phases like that, which is exactly what I do now. Like, for 6 months, I will stay in one place and I'll just fully focus on work. And then for the next 6 months, I'll do what I'm doing now. I'll travel, I hang out with a ton of friends all the time, and I'll have like a lot of fun with all of my friends. And it can even be shorter time periods, like a few weeks home and then a few weeks traveling. But in the beginning, it's really important to give yourself those first initial 6 months to like just truly lock in and be distraction free, because it's so easy to derail yourself in the beginning that you want to have your guardrails up as high as possible and make sure your focus is like so like set on your goals. 7th question is, what separates the girls who actually make it online from girls that don't? I love this question because I think that the girls that actually become successful when it comes to making money online, building a business, entrepreneurship, all have 3 traits in common. 1, emotional regulation. 2, insane levels of objectivity. And 3, hating their current life. One of the biggest things I see in women who want to become successful but ultimately don't end up becoming successful is their inability to regulate their emotions. Women are naturally so much more emotional than guys. Like, we are, and that's such a strength, and it's a beautiful thing that we've been designed to have. But in business, it can be a curse if you let it overtake you, right? The worst thing that you can do is be emotionally driven when it comes to your goals and only show up when you want to, or crash out when things aren't going your way, or feel insecure and decide not to take action because of it. When you want to become successful as a woman, you need to be able to regulate your emotions and put them aside, like not let them rule your life. Not only make decisions that make you feel good and feed your ego, but you have to do things that aren't, not only make decisions that feel good and maybe feed your ego. You have to be more objective, which is number 2. You need to be able to look at your goals in a black and white manner and see clearly what you have to do in order to achieve them, and anything else you just block out. You don't make excuses. You don't sit here and convince yourself that you can just put it off and delay it. I mean, I see this happen so often where a girl tells me her goals and then she makes a million and one excuses for the reason why she can't achieve it. Oh, my home life. Oh, this is happening. Oh my gosh, like I have to do this with my family. And it's like, everyone is going through something. That is not an excuse to not show up for yourself. You have to hold yourself to an incredibly high standard, to the point where you can't even imagine making an excuse for yourself. And until you can do that, and until you can master that level of objectivity, then you're not going to become successful, because you're going to want to be emotional, you're going to want to make excuses, you're going to want to do anything but push yourself to do the hard thing. But it's that exact hard thing that is going to help you take the inputs that will eventually compound into success. And then the 3rd one is just hating your current life. Like, you need a reason to want to be successful, and if you don't have that reason, then you're going to give yourself a way out every single time. Honestly, people think that privilege is a privilege, but it's such a handicap when it comes to success. I mean, I've seen girls that come from rich families that have their parents paying for their apartments, and they tell me they want to do TikTok shop. We get them set up, they join the mentorship, and they quit like a month later because they don't want to actually do it. And it's because they're already so comfortable in their current life that they don't need a reason to do something new. The girls that make it work are the girls that truly have something to lose, and they feel like they have nothing else going for them in their life. So it's like, I just have to make this work. There's no other option. Because again, once your goal is no longer optional, then discipline and motivation come super easy to you, because you just know you have to show up for yourself. Okay, number 8, what is the biggest mistake you see beginners make that keeps them from making money online? Trying to do a million things. You just need to pick one business model to pursue in order to start seeing success. Because the thing is, anything can work. Freelance brand scaling, high ticket sales, UGC, TikTok shop. Literally any business model can work, and they do work, but none of them are going to work if you try to do them all. Like, this is the worst thing that happens to people. I always see a girl on her page is doing high ticket sales, she's doing trading, she's doing UGC, everything and all of it in between, and none of it's working because she's spread so thin, and none of it's actually getting intentional focus put to it. Shiny object syndrome is so real, and it's so crippling. It messes with so many people's success. Like, truly, just pick one thing. Stop trying to do everything. For me, I'm so glad that that's the one thing I did do right in the beginning, was I just decided Gotta focus on UGC. Maybe it doesn't work, but I'm gonna focus on it because me focusing on UGC helped me get initial success after 6 months. And then that skill led me to the next thing I could pursue. And then the next thing and the next thing. Like, you don't have to do a million things to learn a ton of skills at once. You focus on one and it's gonna help you develop a ton of little skills that lead you to the next thing you can pursue that will make you more and more money. Okay, the last two questions are more related to TikTok Shop. I actually got a lot of TikTok Shop questions, but I wanted to make this video more just like mindset-y, like girl in business, not just specifically TikTok Shop related, but I wanted to include these two because they're really great questions. Number 9 is, how quickly should you realistically expect to see results with TikTok Shop? And again, if you're new here, TikTok Shop is what I pursued for about 2.5 years. It's the business model that has made me the most money I've ever made online, because all you have to do is essentially take little products, make videos for them, post them on TikTok, and you get commission. And girls make anywhere from 10K to 90K plus per month doing it, like girls in Create Her, which is my mentorship. But as far as the timeline with seeing results, the thing that sucks about this question is I can't give a definite answer because it is so dependent on the person who's actually like putting in the input. But I can give you a few examples because for context, me, I hit 20K the first month. I decided to fully focus on TikTok Shop. You know what that means is for the 6 months before that, I was doing TikTok Shop like off and on, but I wasn't being intentional with it because I didn't see that it would actually work. I was like, whatever, this is just little new thing, like I'm not gonna take it serious. So I was maybe hitting like max 3K months doing it like that, but the second I decided to go all in and actually give it my full focus, I hit 20K my first month. So for example, she did 10K her first month and then she pivoted content styles and then went to a 20K month right after that. We've seen girls where it takes them 6 months to see results on TikTok Shop because they're not giving it their all. You know, they are posting every day, but it's not super intentional. You know, they don't have like the foundational skills like I had in the beginning that made it easier to immediately see success. And they're not as honest with themselves about how they can be showing up better. So maybe it takes them longer, or sometimes even beyond like things they're doing wrong. Some girls, it just takes longer for them to see success. But usually I'll say by month 6, girls are hitting 10K months or at least 5K months. But we see girls hitting 20K months, 3K months within their first few months. Like Story, for example, joined Create Her first month, 3K month on TikTok Shop without ever even doing it before. Brooke, for example, stuck at 1K months, did 20K her second month in Create Her. Like, that's crazy. We see girls that join no content experience hit 3K, 5K in their second and third months. And then, like I said, we see girls that it takes them more like 6 months to hit their first 10K month. And then after that, it's consistent 10K to 20K plus profit months. But I would say it all goes back to the 6-month rule. And I think if you give TikTok Shop 6 months and you're not seeing results, then you can rule that you're probably doing something wrong, because I haven't seen any girl that commit to TikTok Shop for 6 months not at least hit a 10K or a 5K month after that. Okay, last question is, what does Create Her actually look like once someone joins? So also, if you're unfamiliar, Create Her is my girls only TikTok Shop mentorship. And this is a one-on-one mentorship. So to give you context there, what it looks like is we have the curriculum, we have the community, and we have the actual implementation aspect. So curriculum is your full course. You join, you get that. It walks you from what is TikTok Shop down to content psychology, modular framework, scaling viral videos, and everything in between, like all of the foundational and higher level information that you need to know to print on TikTok Shop. We also have the community. So this is where we do weekly calls every single week. We do feedback on your videos every other day. So there's the implementation. You send them in, we help you, like we break down your videos and tell you what to change so the next video is better. We send products you should promote there. We help you pick your products one-on-one. We help you find good video angles one-on-one. We have a ton of resources in there, and also all the other Create Her girls there to hype you up and help you stick to TikTok Shop. And then there's that one-on-one aspect where you have your one-on-one chat when you get set up with us, where we pick your products, we get your one-on-one call set up, and then we're in there to help you in your first month with any questions you may have to get you fully ready to like print on TikTok Shop. And then we get you with your feedback every other day so that we can make sure you're seeing success and you're always moving forward and not backwards. But there, it's just 3 core pieces. You got the curriculum, you got the community, the mentorship and coaching from Soph and I for 6 full months, designed to take you from literal zero to your first 10K, 20K, 30K plus profit month. And yeah, that is Create Her. It's designed for girls who are not making money on TikTok Shop to learn how, or at least girls who aren't making money with Talking Head to learn how. Built by me, my best friend, who have done TikTok Shop for over 2.5 years. And yeah, we've had it for a year now. We just had our first event. Love my community. It is so amazing. The girls are just amazing. Like, they're the sweetest ever and they're so inspirational. It is the best ever. But that is all of our questions. There was a lot there. There were more, but I just couldn't get to all of them. I feel like I can barely talk anymore. But I hope that gives you guys more insight on like my mentality, what it took for me to get to where I'm at now, and just success as a girl in general. I'll probably do another FAQ video soon because this was honestly fun. But yeah, stay tuned for more vlogs coming out, more content, and subscribe for more. Bye guys.